This video is brought to you by the cramps in my uterus, because I really need a distraction from the pain that I am feeling. I probably could have finished clearing my space before I recorded this, but I was a little preoccupied with figuring out how to entertain myself through this moment of crisis. I do frequently find myself in thrift stores, and it is definitely a favorite hobby and or pastime of mine. I like discovering whatever objects, collections, clothing, whatever. I like discovering the things that end up in thrift stores, and this particular bag, excuse me, this is the moment where I realized the lighting might be better if I turned on the overhead light. This particular bag of embroidery supplies, I found one of the last times I went to a thrift store with a friend of mine, and I've never gotten around to unpacking it. But I was keeping it in my crafting supplies, and I happened to bring them with me because I'm in the middle of house sitting as I record and edit this video. This is not the house that I live in, so I have done my best to put it in a nondescript corner of the house. So I figured my distraction would be to show you the things that are inside of this bag. At first, we just have a collection of various threads in different colors. And then I found someone's handwritten notes about the colors required for a pattern, but I have no idea what any of it means because I don't know what pattern this corresponds with yet, or if I even have the one that it belongs to at all. And here I have found the second color code for some sort of project. This is actually pretty common to find in embroidery projects, so you can have a visual representation of what you're working with. And these are the things that most likely represent some of what I'm dealing with in this bag. Ooh. I was excited for this one because this is some more embroidery needles and threads that come in like metallic shiny colors that I don't currently have, and I'm using some of my needles so much recently that the coating is starting to come off of them, and it makes my fingers smell all metallic to touch the exposed metals underneath, so I was a little excited at my free supplies there. My best guess is that this particular thing I'm unfolding here is a catalog of sorts where you can observe whatever various collections are available. They're definitely grouped in different themes. So it is a selection of offerings from whatever company this is. According to marker on this chart, whoever formerly owned this has finished the King Charles Spaniel, has Toby the Pug, has and finished Spring. They want to buy the Spring sampler. They have the Summer sampler. Oh, want to buy the Winter sampler. No comments on the Autumn sampler. Where was the other writing? Is that it? I think that's it. Oh, we also got Spaniel Puppy. I missed that note. Did I miss other notes? Doesn't matter. Book of Pillows. I think the book is called Chelsea Textiles. Oh, this one's dog-eared. I don't know if that... Oh, so is that one. All right, so we're bookmarking various pages. Let's see our bookmarks. What's the first one? Got a post-it note on whatever this page is. Oh, this is two different things. And they are both some pretty standard canvas, pre-printed, guided needlepoint cross stitch. I actually don't know what these are called. I keep wanting to call them patterns. They're templates, really. They're parts of kits that give you all of the supplies you need. This one's a really cute little bunny with some like garden stuff behind it, and the other one is a cute little winter Christmas kind of theme. I had originally thought that I would use this video to say something like, hey, if you want to watch me stitch these things up that I got from a thrift store find, let me know and I'll film some videos where I'm stitching them up. Except I'm realizing that while I might have the supplies to do the bunny, I don't think I have the stuff in here to do the Christmas one. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think I had all of the colors represented here in this supply. I don't know how else to end this. Here you can have a more close-up view of some of the details. I might have these colors, but I really don't recall seeing anything white or gray when I was going through it, or orange really for that matter, but I also wasn't paying super close attention, so who knows. Maybe I will stitch these up at some point, maybe I won't. These were the magazine pages, a little close-up view for you. I just thought that they were kind of interesting. A lot of the stuff in this bag of goodies is older, like early 2000s or something, or maybe even older than that. I think the copyright on the book was like 2007 or something like that. These newspaper clippings. Newspaper clippings? Wow, these are totally from a magazine. These magazine pages are definitely a little bit older. And I also was surprised, I almost missed it. I was going to make a joke about if you'd like to order some boots, and then I realized that this particular one wasn't even in American currency. So some of the stuff in the bag is from America, and some of it is not. That was also very intriguing to me. And these are just examples of some of the things in the Chelsea's Textile book. I thought it was some pretty cool designs. And, yeah. That's the whole setup. Oh, and I only paid like $6 for all of this, so no matter what, it's kind of a win. You know what? Just for funsies, now that I'm at the end of this video, let's do one more little quick addition. Because I haven't really looked at these articles yet, and I'm kind of curious. What is in here? There's a little article, a little snippet here. Savvy decorators are using vintage textiles to make intriguing displays in their home. Choose from embroidery and colored silks, samplers, tapestries, linen, lace, and fans at Bonham's Summer Textile Sale. Over 350 lots will range from 50 to 10,000. And I'm not gonna lie, the symbol in this article right now is throwing me for a loop. I think it's the pounds symbol. 50 to 10,000 pounds with this George III sampler estimated at 400 to 600 pounds. Textiles is at Bonham's Knoll, the Old House, Station Road, Knoll, Solihull, West Midlands. That was a bunch of words I wasn't expecting to not know how to pronounce. June 17th. Previews June 14th and 16th. call, and again, this is how I know this is foreign because this is the number listed. Call 01564776151. Did anybody see the Rhett and Link video that went up recently where, Good Mythical Morning? Um, they had a phone book from like the 1970s or something like that, and they called it funeral home. I don't know why they picked funeral home, but they picked a funeral home to call, and it was still a valid phone number. This is more ads. This is also ads, but this is, I think, what the person was trying to save. History in the making. In the past, girls made samplers to learn the alphabet and perfect their sewing skills, but threads of their own lives are concealed in the stitches. Styling by Ben Kendrick, co-ordination, not coordination, but co-ordination, hyphenated, by Nicola Goodwin, text by Polly Chiappetta, photographs by Polly Refford. These are definitely names I'm not familiar with. I am honestly kind of intrigued by this. Is there a reference in here? I don't know when this is from. Is there a date listed anywhere that's going to give me a hint as to how old this is? Probably not. No idea. Anyway. The big text across the middle of the page says the earliest samplers were in vertical strips with rows of decorative stitching. From the late 16th century to the Victorian period, in the drawing rooms of great houses, in orphanages and boarding schools, girls as young as 6 endured many hours of patient labor and pricked fingers to embroider panels of linen or wool using different stitching techniques and motifs. That was a very long sentence. These samplers, with repeat patterns, letters, numerals, pictures, and words, were not just made to perfect needlework skills, but also to help girls learn their alphabet and the Christian values of hard work and respect for their elders along the way. In the 1700s to 1800s, proficiency at sewing was a prized accomplishment for young ladies of all social classes. Girls of humble birth made, young ladies of all social classes, girls of humble birth made samplers as CVs to show potential employers that they were handy with a needle, and daughters of the aristocracy sewed to while away the hours. At boarding schools, I'm having a really hard time today. At boarding schools, the curriculum for the privileged few included working samplers alongside singing and making pastry. I kid you not, the phrasing here is actually making pastry. Could have just said baking. The proud needlewoman often stitched on her work her age, together with her name and the year. Today, however, many samplers have gaps where the age would have been, a sign that the discreet maker had unpicked the evidence in later years. The earliest band samplers were in long vertical strips with small horizontal rows of decorative stitching, geometric. I'm so confused. This page ends with the word geometric, and then it has an arrow indicating you have to go somewhere else. Both sections, top and bottom of this other page, start as though they're continuation from another page. Flower and leaf patterns, letters and numbers, as well as moral mottos and simplified figures. Panels of whitework, parentheses, white thread embroidered onto cotton or linen fabric that had areas cut away and filled with needle lace. Okay. End parentheses. White work. They're just doing white stitching on white fabric, and then they're cutting out the negative space to put lace in. Actually sounds really cute. Panels of white work were common in the 17th and 18th centuries, and around the mid 1700s, a poem or prayer encircled by floral decoration and a border often made an appearance. Characteristics from different areas can be spotted. Scottish sampler makers occasionally stitched in their mother's maiden names, and Quaker samplers are predictably sober and dignified, made to celebrate friendship, weddings, births, or to ease mourning. Mourning, MOU, as in grieving. American samplers commemorate events such as earthquakes, military victories, or even the struggle to abolish slavery. While that is very true, I feel like most of the samplers I find in America these days are really boring. Lots of landscapes and florals, or some sort of cute rabbit in a garden, not unlike the one that was in this bag, actually. I honestly can't say I've ever seen. Now this is older than whatever I am. I can't say that I've ever seen a military sampler in my time doing this. There is a naive quality in samplers that speaks directly to you about the child who made them, says Joan Jarrett of Whitney Antiques in Oxfordshire. I don't think they actually pronounce Shire as Shire. It's probably Oxfordshire. Who always has at least 60 samplers in stock. The serious collectors go for white work, but most people collect samplers because they're charming and tell a personal story. That story is not always a happy one, according to Joanna McFarlane, head of textiles at Bonhams. Sewing samplers were an escape, from boredom if you were rich, and poverty if you weren't. Relatable. You can read volumes between the lines of even the simplest ones, particularly orphanage samplers and the ones from institutions for the poor. Those are the most poignant. They can also be the most intriguing, as the children's names and histories can often be sleuthed out through institutions' records. Price depends on a combination of factors. Oh, I get it now. I'm silly. This page continued on to this part, which continued into that one. So I have read this to you slightly out of order, and I don't know if I will edit it to accommodate. Wool samplers, often in one color of wool or silk. They have an unsophisticated appeal all their own and are good value, selling for between $100 and $250, compared to the $4,000 plus you could pay for a large early 19th century piece in its original frame, with fine stitching and design, perfectly preserved. Again, I think that's listed in pound. Price is dictated by overall appeal, whatever the size and condition, says Joanna McFarlane. And a name and date help, she adds. Faded colors, a few stains, and moth holes can bring down the price, but they don't detract from a sampler's vitality and charm. Lots of country antique dealers will have one or two samplers, but some harbor a real passion for them. They will keep an eye out for you as they travel around and can offer advice in building up a collection. To get an idea of what you like, try ringing your local To get an idea of what you would like, try ringing your local history museum. Many have collections of samplers that are not always on display, but can be viewed by appointment. For some reason, in the article, there's a little picture of a duck after it says can be viewed by appointment. It's just a little block print of a duck. No, really, you need to see this. It's so stupid, but it's cute. I don't. Why is there a duck? Mostly what I'm gathering from this article is just the value in collecting some of these antiques if you're interested in it. However, I'm realizing it keeps saying sampler, and I keep imagining a pre-designed print on canvas thing, and I'm realizing that these samplers that the children are making that they're talking about in this article were probably not pre-planned. It was probably designs unique to the person stitching them, and that's probably where they're getting all of the information about. Read between the lines, you can learn about the kid, find their records, all of that stuff. So probably what they mean is that whatever imagery these children decided to put into their samplers is probably speaking to their personality. They actually have a care of samplers section in here. Get a professional conservator to clean antique samplers and make sure they are mounted on linen or acid-free paper and covered in glass. When displaying, remember that heat, sunlight, and moisture can cause the fabric to fade, stain, or become brittle. Where to buy? I don't want to read all of this out loud. It's a lot. It lists a couple of different antique places. And there are a bunch of foreign towns and whatnot that I don't understand, and I don't know how similar their address reading is. So I am even having a hard time figuring out what like town or country that they're in. There's a lot of them. And then there's a couple examples of places that you can go to see the collections in person. There's a few mentionings of places where you can go to see them, I guess. Or no, I'm sorry. Whitney Antiques publishes an annual catalog of its exhibitions. The current issue, How Fragrant the Rose, is £10. Gives a phone number to call for details. So this has to be at least like pre-mass access internet if they're constantly giving phone numbers for details, because it doesn't say visit the website, it all says call for details. So this is at least that old, which is very intriguing to me. There's a couple other things in here where you can order. I think there are other catalogs. It's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, that is the whole thing. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I would like to do more thrift store finds and quote-unquote deep dives. Subscribe to my channel, bookmark it, or don't. You can just try to memorize my name and remember to come back later if you want, but that sounds like a lot of effort. I'm attempting to post more videos in my life. I'm really bad about keeping up with it, and I'm hoping that by posting more and making fun of myself for not posting, I will hold myself accountable. This has successfully distracted me from my cramps for most of the day, though, and I don't know if you can tell or not, but the sun is now completely gone. So that's how long I've been working on this. Okay. Bye!